Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday night. Thought I'd do a video. This video is not for everybody because it's a little bit of a niche topic, very niche topic. I am going to be going over my top 10 favorite Twilight Zone episodes and my top 10 least favorite episodes. Original series. The other ones are crap. Also, I apologize if you hear my air conditioner because apparently even when I shut it off, you can still hear it, which may or may not have caused an issue before I decided to go live. So, without further ado, my top 10 favorite and least favorite Twilight Zone episodes. Now, again, if you have never watched the Twilight Zone, this is not for you. But then again, seeing as nobody ever watches my videos anyway, it doesn't really matter at all. So without further ado, I'm going to do this pretty much for myself. So without further ado, here we go. Coming in at number 10 for my top 10 favorite Twilight Zone episodes is Kick the Can. This is an episode that is dear to me because it was one of me and my mom's favorite episodes. And it tells the tale of a retirement home and an old man who sees a group of kids playing a game of Kick the Can. And he has this crazy notion that when kids stop playing Kick the Can, that's when they start to grow old. So he convinces pretty much everybody in there but his best friend, Ben, to go outside and play Kick the Can. And when his angry, bitter old best friend wakes the proprietor up and they go outside, they immediately see a bunch of kids. And pretty much Kick the Can does in fact keep kids young, and it makes the old young, apparently. And classic, great episode, and very heartwarming, I would say. That comes in at number 10. Coming in at number 9, the Rip Van Winkle Caper. This is an episode that, a lot of Twilight Zone fans probably don't have it on their list. If they do, they're of rare breed, like me. The Rip Van Winkle Caper is about a group of bandits, if you will, in the 1800s? I believe the 1800s. And they steal gold. And they go all the way out to the boonies, if you will, and they hide in this cave. One of the guys is a scientist. And he goes, if we freeze ourselves, if we put ourselves in animated suspension, and we'll probably awake 100 years from now, and gold will be worth crazy amounts of money, and we'll be laughing to the bank. No pun intended. Well, crazy idea. Only two? Only three of them, I think. Two of them wake up. The other guy died because a rock fell in the cave. And one of the guys isn't convinced that it's been 100 years. So they walk through the desert, and the guy that came up with the whole idea, he doesn't have any water. So the one guy that's carrying all the gold will give him water for 1 bar of gold. And this happens, and then all of a sudden, he changes it to 2 bars of gold. So eventually the guy he's had enough, and he takes one of the bars of gold and beats the guy to death with it. And he's the only one left. And he's in the desert ready to die. And this weird, strange car comes up, which kind of indicates to you that it's the future. And the guy goes, please, if you let me have some water or let me into town, I'll give you this bar of gold. And then he dies. And the guy goes up to the girl that was in the car with him. And she goes, what is that? He goes, a bar of gold. You can believe he gave it to me? He was going to offer it to me as if it were worth something? Oh, didn't they used to use gold for currency? Yeah, about 100 years ago, till they learned how to manufacture it. I just really like that episode. It's just so clever. Coming in at number 8, The Seventh is Made Up of Phantoms. This is about General George Custer and his last stand. I'm not going to spoil every single episode for you. Not that it would matter because it's been like 50 years, but you know, again, this isn't for everybody. But the seventh is made up of phantoms. I like this one because it's like modern 1960s, and they go back in time to the 1800s. I don't know if you can hear that. I'm going to do my best to talk over it if you can, so do bear with me. Um, it's just really cool, like them going back into time and you know thinking they can change history or whatever. And they do, just not in the way they would like. Coming in at number 7, The New Exhibit. This is probably the only hour-long episode of The Twilight Zone that is on my list. This one holds a particular fondness for me because, as you know, I wrote a book called The Wax Factory, and The New Exhibit is about a wax museum curator named Martin Lombard Sinescu, who, when he learns that the owner of the wax museum, totally blank on his name right now, just saw the episode recently too, Mr. Ferguson. When Mr. Ferguson is going to close the museum, Martin, who's in control of the Murderer's Row, Jack the Ripper, and a bunch of serial killers, wax museum figures, he decides he's going to take them on himself, and he puts them down in his basement. And one by one, people start to die. It's very creepy. I'm not going to give away that title. Again, if you are watching this, it's because you're a Twilight Zone fan. You already know the ending, so not really spoiling anything. Coming in at number 6, this one used to be higher on my list. Like, we're talking top 3. Not anymore. Coming in at number 6, The Odyssey of Flight 33, with the late great John Anderson, who was a part of at least 4 or 5 Twilight Zone episodes. And this one tells, of course, about a flight on an airplane where apparently the plane breaks a sound barrier, and that brings them back into time. And they go back into the time of the dinosaurs. They go back into the time of the Chicago World's Fair. And will they make it home? It's a very creepy, eerie, mysterious episode, all in one. Coming in at number 5, again, this one might have been a little higher, The Masks. The Masks is the perfect episode to watch at midnight. So when it's New Year's Eve, this is the perfect episode to watch because, yeah, it's just tops. I think that's actually the premise of the episode is like when it strikes midnight, the guy brings his family together, this old man, he's dying, and he feels he knows his family is just ugly on the inside, right? So he has them wear these masks, and they're all going to inherit, his money when he dies. And none of them want to wear the masks, but they do. They comply, and it's such a great episode, and it's even better when you watch it at like 11:30 because it goes into midnight right around the time as in the episode. So yeah. Coming in at number 4, Walking Distance, with the late Gig Martin, I believe his name was. No, Gig Thomas. I knew his first name was Gig. This is about a man who his car breaks down, or it's at a gas station, and he decides to walk back to his old town where he grew up, which is within walking distance. And he pretty much ends up back in his old town, but also back into the past. A lot of Twilight Zone episodes deal with the past, which is sentimental because, at times we all like to wish we could go back to the past and change stuff, or do stuff over again. So this is a trip down memory lane, quite literally. to the point where Martin Sloan sees himself as a kid, and he talks to his dad, and it's a fun episode. One of my favorites, obviously, if I'm talking about it. Coming in at number 3 is an episode I can probably quote word for word, A Penny for Your Thoughts, with the late Dick York, who starred in Bewitched. So, A Penny for Your Thoughts is about a bank clerk, played by Dick York, and on his way to work, he goes to get a newspaper, and he takes a quarter and flips it, and of course it lands on its side. And that gives him the ability to hear what people are thinking. And it's just a funny, fun, but very real episode. It's one of those episodes you kind of wish, like, hey, I wish I had this power. I wish I could hear what people think about me over the course of a day. Or maybe I don't. At the end of the episode, you're probably thinking the same thing he is. Like, I wish I didn't, because it's like seeing people with their clothes off. You didn't think you'd see them that way, but they surprise you. Coming in at number 2 is one of the most classic Twilight Zone episodes of all time, To Serve Man. I can spoil this one because we all know it, right? These candidates, these 7-foot, roughly 350-pound men, these Christopher Columbus from another planet, as Rod Serling puts it in the opening narration, are here on Earth. But what is their agenda? Now, of course, we as human beings are trying to crack the code. And there's one, Mr. Chambers, played by Lloyd. I got his first name, I don't remember his last name, right? And he works at a code cracking company. And they get the title, which is called To Serve Man. And one of the men says, I sure hope so. Do you now? Do you? We, of course, find out that To Serve Man is a cookbook. Mr. Chambers tries to fight off the candidate, but he can't, and he's lured into the ship. And we now find out that in the opening scene, he's on the ship because they're trying to bulk him up so they can eat him. Classic episode. And now, my number one most favorite Twilight Zone episode, To Stop at Willoughby. Willoughby, the stop is Willoughby. Willoughby? Yes, sir, Willoughby. Willoughby right outside. Summer. It's 1888. Willoughby is just, I don't know what made me fall in love with this episode. It's just a man who is just tired of his boss. And if you've heard or seen his boss, you'd know why. He's tired of his job. And also, he's just tired of his nagging wife. When you can't even go home after a hard day's work from your boss nagging you because your wife's just going to nag you too, you kind of need to get away, right? It's no wonder he dreams of Willoughby when he's taking the train home. He finds out that Willoughby doesn't really exist, and that it's just a dream that he concocted. But then he wants to go to Willoughby after the second time of being there. And then he decides that he gets off, and he's at Willoughby. And of course, what do we find out? That in reality, he jumped off the train, yelling Willoughby. And of course, the closing credits, in the closing scene, they put him into the hearse, and they close the door. And what does the back of the hearse say? Willoughby and Son. I thought that when I first saw that, I was like, wow, they really went there. So there you have it, my top 10 favorite Twilight Zone episodes. Kick the Can, The Rip Van Winkle Caper, The Seventh is Made Up of Phantoms, The New Exhibit, The Odyssey of Flight 33, The Masks, Walking Distance, A Penny for Your Thoughts, To Serve Man, and number 1, A Stop at Willoughby. But we're not done with this video, because I did tell you that there's my top 10 favorite episodes, and now I'm going to give my top 10 least favorite episodes. Now, why do I want to talk about Why do I want to talk about my top 10 least favorite episodes? Well, it's only fitting if I talk about my favorite. People, if you're a Twilight Zone fan and you're watching this, which I'm sure you are, you kind of want to know, he didn't mention my episode in the favorites. Is he going to mention it in the least favorite? I might. I just might. All right, so coming in at number 10 for my least favorite Twilight Zone episodes, Static. Static was one of the 5 episodes that they used a camera, excuse me, to film. This was during season 2, and they filmed with a video camera to cut the costs. Rod Serling wasn't a fan of this technique, but they did it for 5 episodes because it saved them a heck of a lot of money at the time. You can sort of tell which episodes. I can't name them all off the top of my head because I'm not that Twilight Zone savvy, but this is one of them, and there's at least 3 I think you can distinctly tell. This one and Lateness of the Hour. That one I do know. Those 2 you can immediately tell. You're like, why does this look different than the others? It's because they're using a video camera. So Static tells the tale of this old man who's in this retirement home, I guess, or assisted living facility. They all live together. And he's just, I don't know, I guess he's realizing that he's getting old, and he hears this radio station back from the 30s that he used to listen to. And it's got all his classic music, and all the people that he's listening to on the radio, they're dead. They're long dead. And he tells this guy who he's eating dinner with at the facilities, oh, I listened to this radio station, and this person and this person. One guy's like, no, you didn't. They're dead. And the other guy's like, I'm really intrigued. And basically, he doesn't get the radio station. He even calls. They said they've been out of business for years. And I guess he was married. He's married to one of the women in there. As many times as I've seen this episode, I'm not sure if he's dating the woman now or he's married to her. I'm pretty sure he's married to her. Long story short, apparently he ends up going back into time using this radio, and she goes with him, and they're at the facility, but they're back in time, and they get to relive the 30s again. I don't know. Yes, they went back in time, but the episode seems very lacking to me. I can't get into it. I've seen it a good 5 times, but I just can't. Coming in at number 9, Last Night of a Jockey. I would also put a slash here and put Nervous Man in the $4 Room because essentially they're the same damn episode, except different sort of agendas. Last Night of a Jockey comes in at number 9. This is the one starring Mickey Rooney. Normally, I would say, you know what? I wish Mickey Rooney were in more episodes. I would say that, except his performance in this episode was bad and probably good that he only did 1 episode. Sorry, Mickey. So basically, for those, if you know who Mickey Rooney was, he was an actor who somehow landed Ava Gardner despite being really short and curmudgeon. And in this episode, he plays a horse jockey. Now, of course, you remember, horse jockeys are small, but he plays a controversial horse jockey. Apparently, he says some things, he did some things, and they suspended him. They gave him the old boot. They kicked him out. But he's in this room, and he's like, you know what, since they're not going to do that, I wish I could be big. Bigger than I am. Like, big literally. Because he's a short man. After he does this, he gets a call from the horse racing company and the horse racing team, and they say, you know what, we're going to reinstate you. Only problem is now he's like 7 feet tall, so he can't be a jockey, and he's too big for the room that he's in. It's just silly, and it takes place in that one room. I just don't care for it. Coming in at number 8, This one might ruffle some feathers if you're a Twilight Zone fan and you're watching this, which again I hope you are. I Am the Night, Color Me Black. It's about an episode where a town is about to hang a man for murder. The only problem is the sun never comes up. The man is hung and hanged. Sorry, the man is hanged. And despite being hanged, the sun never comes out. In fact, it gets darker. And it's going to keep getting darker because we, as a society, just hate. And as long as we have hate, it's only going to get darker and darker. Now, for years, when I was younger and I saw this episode, I immediately didn't like it. Because I was like, well, that's kind of weird. It's just because it's getting darker out. But then I started to realize the message. But even then, for some reason, I just could not get into it. And it even has Paul Fix, the actor who plays Micah in The Rifleman in it. And I like him. But even that it has Goober from Andy Griffith in it. And I'm still just like, nope, I can't get into this episode. Coming in at number 7, The Jungle. The Jungle's on this list because every time I go to watch The Twilight Zone on Pluto, this episode is on. This episode or Perchance to Dream. But Perchance to Dream is actually a somewhat decent episode, so it's not on this list, don't worry. But The Jungle is just kind of, I don't know. You think I'd be into that episode, but after you see it on every single time you just happen to go to Pluto and want to watch it, it just kind of drives you nutty after a while. It drives you batty. So, coming in at number 7, The Jungle. I won't even tell you what it's about because you already know. Coming in at number 6, The Incredible World of Horace Ford. This is another one of those hour-long episodes. So when Sci-Fi Channel airs marathons, usually on 4th of July or New Year's Eve, when they do actually air hour-long episodes, this episode is rarely, if ever, on. To me, it's boring. It's about this guy who makes toys. He's kind of having like a nervous breakdown or maybe like a midlife crisis. I'm not sure. And he swears he sees the kids that he used to play with as they are, like when they were kids. He sees them now. And again, it's all about going back to the past. And again, I don't know. I find this episode to be dreadfully boring. It's just, I can't. I think I've seen it 3-4 times. I just don't like it. Don't care for it. Coming in at number 5, Black Leather Jackets. Do I need to say anything more, Twilight Zone fans? What's the problem, Big Daddy? Why don't you like this episode? Well, for one, it's probably every Twilight Zone fan's least favorite episode. You will come across a few people online that are like, I like that episode. It's like, yeah, you're one of like 100, maybe like 10 people. Black Leather Jackets, of course, 3 guys from outer space in leather jackets who live in this house, and they talk to this TV with an eye in it, who's their leader, telling them to take over the world, and one of them is smitten by an Earth girl. That's pretty much the episode in a nutshell. It's just... not only is the episode just kind of tacky and weird, but the ending is just very lackluster. It's very bland. It's just... the ending isn't really... even the closing narration by Rod Serling doesn't really clarify anything. Coming in at number 4, Come Wander with me. Come Wander with Me, which is probably the second episode that people are just all in agreement with that it sucks. The lead role is played by Bing Crosby's son, Gary Crosby, I believe. And it tells a story about a musician called the Rockabilly Kid, I believe his name is. And he wanders into the forest and he comes across this girl. And she's singing that song that I just sang at the beginning. And he's like, "Oh, I'll buy that song off you." And right away, the episode is just, the acting is very timid. It doesn't, the episode, the plot doesn't really make sense. When it does make sense, just when you think it does, something happens and it just throws everything off. Gary Crosby's acting is just terrible. And the overall atmosphere, it just gets sucked out by the crappiness of this episode. And if you actually Google this, I believe Wikipedia, I know it's bad, Wikipedia is bad, but if you look it up on Wikipedia, it actually tells you that they put a lot of money into the song more than the episode itself. So, and a fun fact, Bonnie Beecher, the girl who sings "Come Wander with Me," she actually ditched acting altogether to marry a hippie, and she's still alive today with her hippie. They're both hippies now, her and her husband. How weird is that? So yeah, "Come Wander with Me," coming in at number 4. Coming in at number 3, "I Sing the Body Electric." Justin, how dare you, right? Full discretion, I wish we got more Ray Bradbury directed episodes. I absolutely wish we had more Ray Bradbury story episodes. This is the only one we got from him, and it's not a good one. These kids want a nanny. These kids, their mother died. They need a nanny mother figure or a grandmother, and they build a nanny in the sense of a robot or a robot. It's boring to me. It's just, I cannot get into it. It's just not a good episode in my opinion. Coming in at number 2, "What's in the Box?" Asterix. Actually, no, I'm not going to put an asterisk, not yet. Number 2 is "What's in the Box." Now, this episode, you're probably asking yourself, do you not like it for the reason I think? Yeah. The husband is cheating on his wife. That's not why I don't like the episode. First of all, the fact that he's able to land another woman. If you've seen this man, the fact that he's able to land a woman who's twice as hot as his wife, that's a question mark in itself. But basically, he sees it on the TV. He sees himself talking to the girl that he's cheating on his wife with, and of course, he calls her his wife into the room, and of course, all she sees is static, and he ends up fainting, and it's the part that bothers me. The part that I really don't like this episode is the fact that they physically fight. Husband and wife fight, and they call each other names, and she mocks him, and he mocks her, and she mocks him and mocks him to the point where he punches her and pushes her, and they have a physical fight. That they knock the TV over, and it's just, I just don't like it. It's just a very bad taste, and to me, it doesn't go with the other episodes. Coming in at number 1 for my least favorite episode, which you all probably love, "It's a Good Life." Justin, how dare you? I can't stand this episode. I hate it. Oh, I hate it so much. And you already know why I hate it. And you know what I'm going to say? It's good that I hate this episode. It's real good. Anthony Fremont. Oh, I would dropkick that kid so far. Nobody else would have the balls or the testicular fortitude to punt that kid and take him out of his misery for the mayhem and chaos that he's causing the town. Basically, this town walks on eggshells because this one 7-year-old boy named Anthony Fremont has powers. And if you don't agree with anything that he says, he wishes you to the cornfield. Cornfield, of course, is metaphorical. And The first time I ever saw this episode, I was probably like 10, 12, maybe a couple years older than good old Anthony. And I didn't like the episode then. I grew up watching the Twilight Zone marathons, and this episode was always on. And every time I hated it. And even now, I still hate it. I mean, I'll watch it on a rare occasion. Like, obviously, if it's on during the Twilight Zone New Year's Eve marathons, I'll watch it just so I can tweet about how much I hate them. And everyone just likes the, like, hey, look at that. There you have my top 10 least favorite episodes. Now, before I close this episode, I want to go over them, and then I'm going to give an honorable mention, because there's one particular episode that you're probably asking yourself, why didn't you mention that? That episode is terrible. I agree with you. And in fact, it's so terrible that I didn't make the list. Number 10, Static. Number 9, Last Night of a Jockey. Number 8, I Am the Night, Color Me Black. Number 7, The Jungle. Number 6, The Incredible World of Horace Ford. Number 5, Black Leather Jackets. Number 4, Come Wander With Me. Number 3, I Sing the Body Electric. Number 2, What's in the Box. And number 1, It's a Good Life. Now, the one I left off, honorable mention, / after It's a Good Life, Cavender Is Coming with Carol Burnett. I didn't forget, guys. I didn't forget. This episode is horrible. This episode is so bad that even Carol Burnett at one point was given an interview, and someone asked her about this episode, and she was like, yeah, it's not good. Basically, it's Mr. Beavis. If you've seen that episode, it's Mr. Beavis, but with Carol Burnett. They both get guardian angels. The guardian angels both want them to help them with their clumsy lives. But essentially, in the end, they realize that they're happy the way they are. The way that they've always been. The way they always live their life. Mr. Beavis that episode's appreciated. This one isn't, because it's just, maybe because people realize it's just Mr. Beavis with Carol Burnett. And it's just silly, it's dumb, yeah. So honorable mention, Cavender Is Coming as my least favorite episode as well. Twilight Zone fans, I do hope you enjoyed this episode. I do hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you did like it, please feel free to hit subscribe so you know the next time that I'm going live. This is the first time I've ever done Twilight Zone content, so if you're a Twilight Zone fan and you like this video and you'd like for me to do more, feel free to comment below. Hit me up on social media, probably Twitter. I mean, we both probably do the marathon, so just tweet me and be like, hey, I want to see more Twilight Zone content from you. And I've been saying it for years, I want to do more, but yeah, so maybe this will be the start of it, right? Thank you for watching, and until next time.